I want to take a little bit for questions before I talk about how you can take a story that is tough to tell and find a way to tell it in a way that your audience will get something out of it. So, from based on what you've heard so far, what am I leaving out? Because, like I said, it's a huge topic. What would you want to be able to tell your veteran friends, or what do you wish I was telling you, Maggie, or you, Mac? I mean, Mac, you've already gone out and spoken a ton. What am I missing here?
Yeah, I'll jump in because in trying to reach out to this group, what we're trying to accomplish is helping the men and women that have had a service career make the choice to go into their own business and being visible. But I always look at a lot of people and the term fear factor comes to me, or comfortability. How does somebody step up? And it doesn't mean that you're not aware of the fear factor, but how do you control it in everything you're doing? I mean, you talked about your artificial leg. You're out here, you're moving around on your walker, you're getting involved. I mean, you could have fear and say, "Oh, I couldn't do this." Does somebody coming out into a new world get past that thing that people are going to laugh or people are going to, dismiss me?
It's going to be different for everyone. There is no clear-cut answer for that. I mean, the more obvious motivational answer is, well, just do it. Get out there and make it happen. But it's not that easy. And that's one of the reasons I talk about, just like you start your career in small steps, go to a Toastmasters club for the support because they are a group of non-judgmental people who will go and support you. They will applaud for you no matter how bad you are. That is the great thing about Toastmasters. If you're just trying to get the courage to get up and speak, that's where you want to start. If you're past that, if you've started to have a message and want to become a speaker, there are, so many other options. I mean, just within Achieve, you've got Achieve Speakers Live. Marty's got Speakers Speak Live, and I encourage everybody to be a part of that. And I think most of you have gone to one or both of those particular events. But then going out and going to that higher level and being in public, but you're going to be frightened, perhaps, if you're going to be nervous, you're going to be anxious. But speaking directly to the veterans, you've been anxious in other situations before, and you've gotten through them, and you weren't in danger when you're in front of an audience the way you were in danger in the military. Audiences, for the most part, are rooting for you. That's something to remember. Nobody wants to go hear a lousy speaker. They all want you to be great. They all want to hear you, and they are there usually deliberately, voluntarily to hear what you have to say, unless you're speaking to corporate and they're forced to be there, which is a different animal altogether. But your audience is hoping you're good, and they're going to support you. Other people are going to have other types of fears, other reasons they're afraid to get on stage, and a coach will help you through that. A coach can help dig into that. I know throughout my 22 years of coaching speakers, I've found people's fears are rooted in something that happened in school, something that happened with their parents, something that happened in their first job. There's always something that they can point back to When I was a kid, I was supposed to give a book report to my eighth grade class, and I didn't read the book because it was about Abraham Lincoln, and I figured I knew all about Abraham Lincoln. It wasn't that tough. I'd give the book report without having read the book or created a report. I got up there and I couldn't say a word. And I had all these eighth graders who all made fun of me anyway, because back then I wasn't Rich Hopkins, I was Dick Hopkins, and I limped around even before I had the leg. I just said nothing. And I ran out of the classroom down the hall, never to give that book report. Things like that, they're traumatic and they can keep you from doing some of the things you want to do. And I didn't get involved in public speaking again really until my late 20s. I did acting, I did some other things, but not public speaking per se. So that was probably a roundabout way to say it depends, Mac.
Well, and I appreciate that. I think one of the things that we have going for us is that yes, most of us are tied into Achieve Systems, but there are so many other groups. We've got you, we've got Marty, we have Kathy Riley, we have 20 other people that we can name, on our fingers. And there's probably 100 other people that are stepping up into some form of speaking. So finding somebody to be comfortable with, it is a process of elimination, but it's not because there's lack of people out there that can help you.
No. Now, okay, here, this is going to be the secret. Once you're comfortable talking, once you have an audience, once you're writing a speech, here is the key to being able to talk about uncomfortable things. And it is humor. You need to find a way to make whatever you're going to talk about have a light side. You're going to be talking about negative things, dark things. And if you leave your audience down in the dark, you're going to lose them. You've got to be able to bring them back. And sometimes that means being humorous in a way that you're not yet comfortable with, but is still okay. And you have to be comfortable enough with it so your audience is comfortable enough with it. Because if they see you're not comfortable with it, they will still be down in the dark. And why is it so important for them to laugh? Because the moment after they laugh, they are more ready to hear your message than ever before. That is the moment to give them the lesson, to tell them the point and reinforce it, because they're in a positive space again and they will soak that in and they will forever link that point to that laugh and the story behind it. So for me, I grew up with a birth defect. My left leg has never worked right. I had 10 surgeries before I was 10 years old, surgeries they had never tried before, surgeries where they'd go up to my mom afterwards and say things like, that worked better than we thought it would, just to be able to walk. I had several surgeries after that. I had doctors telling me, you need to get a desk job because at some point your leg is going to stop working and you need to take care of it. Now, I'm in my teenage years when they're telling me this, and I'm invincible. I don't believe them. No, I can play basketball. You should see my three-point shot. And I've got a great fake to my left because every step is a fake to my left. I love being physical. I ended up in an outside sales job. I ended up doing speaking, which is you're always on your feet, you're always walking around, you're always traveling. Well, at 38 years old, my doctors turned out to be right. I got up one day, could not step on my left ankle. Too much pain. Just, I didn't know what to do other than call into work and say, I'm not coming in today. I mean, honestly, it had happened before, but never quite to that extent.